If you're anything like me, you remember the days of technology where it moved fast enough to be exciting, but not fast enough where every single day another job was getting automated and everyone's up in arms on Twitter talking about whether or not AI is safe for people or not. Back in those days, it was a lot simpler and we had things like Amazon Go. And if you don't remember Amazon Go, it was Amazon's promise to revolutionize shopping as we knew it. It went from taking something that was archaic and old, something that required a two-person interaction, and turning it into walking into a grocery store, getting what you needed and walking straight out while having the bill automatically taken care of you by the app they had and your credit card. And back then I was still a student in university and I was so hopeful about this technology. I thought that whatever sensor they were using, whether it was some RFID thing or some AI recognition of what item you picked up or the barcode that you were using or something related to that, was so cool, and I thought that the future would be interesting if they were able to implement this idea. However, today it turns out that will no longer be a reality, as Amazon has announced they will be discontinuing their Just Walk Out technology in exchange for something called Dash Carts, which I'll show you in just a second. But first, and I don't know if this was public information or not until now, I just found out about it, we have found out that it actually relied on more than 1,000 workers in India to monitor and accurately label videos and acting as outsourced cashiers. So let me show you what was happening. Essentially, this is the promo video they released like 7 years ago about what it would look like, and you can see someone just walks into a grocery store, they look around, they choose what they want, they essentially just get whatever they want after scanning their barcode, their app when they walk in. And that sort of gives you some sort of idea that, oh yeah, this process is like highly automated and stuff like that. And then she gets what she wants and she ends up just walking out with it. Then she gets the receipt and she can see what she's doing. Well, there was a couple of issues with this video. Number one, you wouldn't get the receipt for a couple hours a lot of the time. And number two, turns out instead of some clever technology, it was just a bunch of people in India watching video camera footage of people walking into the store, taking items, putting them into their basket or their cart, finding those items in like some system, I guess they had on the back end, tallying up how much the receipt was, and then finally sending it over a few hours later. And that is some insane Wizard of Oz vibes where you pull back the curtain and there's just some guy sitting there and he's the mastermind behind everything, except in this case it's 1,000 workers in India that are just watching people shop. And they say here that initially they had a goal that only 50 out of every 1,000 of these sales would require manual interventions from somebody watching one of these camera footages. However, they were never able to get that number down to under 700, which means for every 1,000 shopping sessions that happened, 700 of them required actual manual intervention from someone in India to actually tally up what the person got while they were in the grocery stores and put together the receipt to send them. Now, I'm not sure how accurate this source is. Apparently, Amazon actually disputes these figures, but it is kind of telling that they're moving away from it. If it was actually getting better over time, they probably would have stuck to it, but this shows that the technology, I guess, is just not there yet. If you have one of these Amazon Fresh stores near you with walkout technology, they aren't shutting all of them down just quite yet, but they will be discontinuing it, and what they plan to replace it with is almost just as interesting. I also don't know how long this has been around for, but introducing the Amazon Dash Cart. It is essentially just a giant grocery cart that has a barcode scanner on it. I don't really know how else to put it. That's literally what it looks like. And while you are shopping, you essentially just, every time you pick up an item, you scan it, put it in there, and I guess the whole idea is like when you return the cart, it realizes that your shopping session is done and it automatically charges whatever card you have on the Amazon app, because I assume when you start doing this, you scan the QR code on your app so it knows who the user is and stuff like that. It's also cool, I don't know if you saw that, they make you like approve like what item you're doing sometimes. Like it's sort of like if you go and you check out a vegetable or something and you have to search up the QR code. I could just imagine a bunch of these people like standing in front of the orange aisle, just picking up an orange and sitting there for 5 minutes trying to figure out what the actual barcode is while 5 people are standing there behind them trying to get oranges themselves. It's just kind of a funny idea that people will be walking around with these, and they look sort of convenient. Like it doesn't look like it's too much work. The fact that there's a bunch of lights on there probably indicates some of the issues they've had while testing it. Probably the QR code or the barcode for the actual product might not have been easily legible by the cameras, which is why they had to add those giant lights. But honestly, it does look like a lot more efficient of a solution than having 1,000 people in India monitoring a bunch of shopping sessions. And it looks like eventually, like I'm sure the products they source could probably in the future be fitted out with some RFID chip in the packaging, so you could just tap it and put it into your grocery cart instead of having to scan it. And I can imagine it being super frustrating when you're trying to scan it and it doesn't doesn't scan, except this time you're not at like the self-checkout aisle. You're just standing in the middle of the aisle with people waiting behind you. And also, I'm sort of wondering what people with like kids are going to do. I know a lot of grocery carts have that thing where you put your kid in there, yet there's no room for that in one of these grocery carts. I don't know. Maybe Amazon will do something crazy like implement some kid playground in their shopping centers for any parent that wants to shop in their stores or something. That would definitely be a tech company-esque type solution to a problem like that. But yeah, I hope this doesn't end up being something we hear about now and in 7 later they're like, you know what, it actually didn't work. I really want to start seeing these things in my local Walmart and my local Metro and all my local grocery stores that I have, just so I can test it out and make another video on it, because I was promised a future where you didn't have to interact with cashiers. And even though self-checkout gave us that future already, I want something more convenient. I want to walk in and walk out and be able to shave those 5 extra minutes off each of my shopping sessions. And if you think you're going to try it out, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what I should cover next. And I'll see you in the next video.